following program is an exclusive Disruption Networks production.
So you just bought your dream home, and now it's time to move. Let's face it, nobody likes to move. All the packing, unpacking, lifting, upstairs, downstairs, and broking everything, including your back. Let the professionals at EJA Moving Company take all the stress and pain out of your move. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, and complete packing and unpacking services. They work with everybody to make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Call EJA Moving Company at 315-335-0516. When it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you. Hit them up online, ejamoving.com.
Want to know what's going on at the D? Hit up DisruptionNetwork.net and check out our events calendar. Find out about upcoming guests, special events, concerts, show schedules, community activities, and more. Get connected at DisruptionNetwork.net.
What's up, everybody? It's all pucked up. I am not Rich Masucci, though I do wish I had his toy collection. It's Measy.
And his hot dog costume.
And his hot dog costume, right? Don't you wish you had his toy collection?
He's got a pretty sweet toy collection, I gotta say.
It was we're going to clarify, right?
Okay, yeah. Masucci has an extensive toy collection.
All right.
It's huge.
Oh, okay.
I would just take the Simpsons stuff.
Yeah, I'll take just the WWF stuff from back in the 80s. You got all those rubber.
Oh, those were awesome.
Yeah, the LJN things.
With the ring. Remember the ring?
Yeah, with the ropes.
Yeah.
Plastic, of course.
And they were actual ropes.
Let me introduce my man, Scott Kinville. Scott, how are you?
What is going on, Z?
Can you believe Masucci put me at the helm?
Welcome to the driver's seat.
Thank you.
You know, how you liking it over there?
I know nothing about hockey this year. Though I love hockey. It is my favorite sport, but I know nothing of what's going on.
That's okay. We'll guide you through. We'll guide you through the darkness. We'll get you through the forest, brother. Don't worry about it.
My whole life is consumed with Disruption Network and the Stanley Theater. So, which is a great
Stanley
thing.
Theater, Stanley Cup, right?
And there you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Right?
I'm surrounded by Stanleys.
Hey.
Also joining us today, Chris Mazzotti, an old friend. Man, how long we go back? Years, since like Columbus School.
You lived in my backyard, basically.
Did live in the backyard. Good to see you, a fellow Ranger fan. You're getting teamed up on the Ranger.
I'm used to that. I am so used to that.
Just for Scott,
As a matter
I didn't want to have any East Coast bias, so I wore my Vegas Golden Knights, those sweet Golden Knights.
It looks wonderful on you, Chris. Yeah.
I thought about wearing mine too, but I'm glad you did.
Well, you know what? Hey, being a Ranger fan, at least you get to wear one conference champion shirt, right?
I got one from 2014.
I still have the '94 Stanley Cup hat. I still got that.
The leather one?
No, it's not the leather one. It was it's brown and it's kind of two-sided. You know, it says the Stanley Cup over here, but I'll have to bring it in sometime. But yeah, I still have that going. But one thing I do want to say is congratulations to the Utica College hockey team for winning their conference title.
Yeah,
they're going on.
They're going to the NCAA tournament for Division III.
Chances are
looking good too.
Absolutely, they won like 19 games in a row.
Yeah.
Gary
they
Heenan's
are on a roll.
Gary Heenan's got those guys flying right now, and big ups to Gary Heenan too. He's
absolutely.
done a tremendous job with that program since its inception.
Absolutely.
He's been at the helm since day one, and that guy is kicking butt, and kudos goes out to the Utica College hockey team.
No doubt. Way to go, boys. Keep it going.
UC. All right. So what's going on, guys? In that world of hockey right now, the Philadelphia Flyers, they're pretty hot right now.
They are.
What's going on? Claude Giroux's putting the puck in the net, eh?
Well, all of them are putting the puck in the net. So, last week we talked about streaks, right? It's funny how one streak can make or break your season, and especially in a league filled with parity like the NHL is. You go on an 8-game winning streak like the Flyers have, and all of a sudden you're talking about possibly being a division champion. Now, the one thing that the Flyers might have to deal with a little bit, he's kind of gone under the radar this year, but losing James Van Riemsdyk. He's gone for 4 to 6 weeks with a broken hand. Now, everybody's saying, well, JVR, he's washed up. Well, no, he was actually on pace for 25 goals. So he was actually an integral part of their second line. But I got to tell you, your old friend Alain Vigneault has that team playing fantastic hockey. And the thing with them is right now they're getting timely goaltending again. Now, when they were kind of in the doldrums, Carter Hart and Brian Elliott were both just nowhere to be found. But now they've two things. They got goaltending again, and they figured out how to win on the road, which is going to make this team very dangerous going forward. What do you think, Mazzotti?
I think Carter Hart was outstanding against the Rangers. Like, the Rangers really should have had like 4 or 5 goals in each of those games. He was the reason that they lost both those games. Going forward, he's got to still be the reason.
Well, sure. You're not going to depend on Brian
Elliott. I just don't think Philadelphia has the longevity and the depth to go on a deep run. Now, anything obviously can happen,
right,
as we saw last year, but Carter Hart's got to be the top of that pyramid for that team. After that, they're doing pretty well. Of course, who thought Kevin Hayes would be like the key linchpin to this whole thing?
Remember how everybody said they overpaid for him in the offseason?
They did way overpay for him. $7.1 million for Kevin Hayes.
This year it's pretty good. I don't know about 7 years of it, but
the whole reason the Kreider contract got held up was because of Kevin Hayes, because he was going, well, you paid Kevin, so he got 7.1. And,
but you know what? The difference between Kevin Hayes and Kreider is Kreider's a winger.
Yes, that is.
So your position differential.
Caved a little on that.
Absolutely.
Came under $7 million, but Flyers are doing outstanding. Their plus minus is great. Everybody on the team's.
Well, you know who's really, really stepped up for them too, and is just taking the next step forward is Ivan Provorov.
I was just going to say,
defenseman. He's just been fantastic. I mean, people have actually forgotten about Shane Gostisbehere. Or Gostisbehere, sorry.
Forgot about him.
Gone. I mean, he's not even playing.
Their fan base is like they should have traded him at the deadline.
Right. Exactly.
I'm like, really?
Where 2 years ago he was like the second coming to Bobby Orr, you know?
Yeah. It's like they're like, oh no, he fell off.
Ghost Bear, disappear.
Yeah. That's the thing I can't stand about Philadelphia fans, man. The second anybody takes a slight dip, it's like, get rid of him. Get rid of him. Get him out of here.
In all their sports.
Yeah. It's like, how'd that work on Bobrovsky, by the way? Oh, okay.
Yeah, right.
So, you don't want to jump the shark too quick there, but they're doing great. I hate it. I hate the Flyers. Don't want to see them do well at all.
This is no unbiased show.
But the thing is, too, I mean, it's too bad Rich wasn't here for this, too, because now 2 weeks ago, we weren't even talking about Philadelphia. Remember, we were talking about Pittsburgh being the big hot team, and they were going to overtake the Capitals, and then all of a sudden, they hit a brick wall, and now they went on a losing streak.
And the Capitals, too, are slipping.
The Capitals, I don't know what's wrong with the Capitals, because on paper, they should be the hands-down favorite as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, absolutely.
As far as I'm concerned. Because what separates, for me anyway, what separates the Capitals from the rest of the pack is, to me, they have the best bottom six in the Eastern Conference. Now, you can sit there and say, well, bottom six, who cares, right? That's your make or break, if you ask me. Yeah, I mean, if you're a contender, obviously you've got a good top six as far as your forward group. No doubt about it. You have to be a contender. But what separates the cream from the crop, so to speak, is when you get to that playoffs and you can roll 4 lines and roll them effectively, that bottom six is what makes or breaks it. And like I said, on paper, it should be a no-brainer. And when that bottom six is producing for Washington is when they're really flying. But to me, if you ask me, the Washington Capitals, they kind of remind me of the movie Rocky III, right? They've been on top for so long. They got real complacent, right? And now I think the Washington Capitals need a Clubber Lane to come along. I really do. Because
really?
I think they've lost the eye of the tiger. I really.
How do you compare the Washington Capitals to a Rocky movie?
I just did,
and you don't take Rocky IV, the one with all the Russian.
Well, listen,
considering the whole team is Russian.
I know, but still, it's if you think about it, though, Rocky wasn't really on top in Rocky. I mean, he was just kind of there.
If
right?
there's anybody that's like,
but
Ivan Drago, it's Ovi, isn't it?
Well, pick one on Washington. I mean, jeez, it's like Red Dawn there. I mean,
it's like Red Dawn. Better movie.
Do you really think Washington has been on top for all that? They only won 1 cup.
I know, but
They were choke artists throughout playoff.
They
I
have
know,
been in
but
first
but
place
they've always
for the
been a
last
contender.
5 years.
Exactly,
They have
they've
been
always been the
like-
contender.
Longer than 5 years. They've been.
You know
in
what?
it for a
Kind
while.
of remember Tampa Bay last year, right? Didn't ever have to deal with any adversity, no big injuries or anything like that, and all of a sudden you start getting complacent with your game. You start getting maybe a little bit soft.
I don't
Right?
think it's that, Scott. And I we've touched on this before in past episodes. You cannot go this hard all year long and expect to make the playoffs and go on a run. It's not going to. It doesn't. Listen, it hasn't happened since Henri Richard was playing for the Canadians. Okay,
R.I.P.
that's the last time.
Yeah. By the way, R.I.P. Henri
Yeah,
Richard,
definitely.
legend.
Legend.
The pocket rocket.
But that's the last time that a team was like that dominating, just went into the play. Even the Oilers with the Gretzky era, okay? But nobody's doing
But see,
that.
they had their
There's
Clover Lane moment too.
There's too much parity in this league. You cannot go 82 games, hard nose to the wall, and then come in. We saw what happens last
you know
year.
what,
What
though?
happens? You get swept by the Columbus Blue Jackets in the first round.
But you know what? The Capitals just don't seem to be going hard. They just don't seem to be. They just seem to be laying back.
Now they seem to be laying back.
They've been.
Now.
They've actually since the All-Star break. Really, it's like they've been in cruise control.
I'll give it to you there. I think
You know?
I think Pittsburgh is another team that's just they go so hard and then they just
Pittsburgh's
you can't-
predictable,
you
though.
Can't maintain it.
Pittsburgh is predictable.
Masucci,
You know, because Jamie Osnott would appreciate this. To me, the Pittsburgh Penguins are like an EKG pattern, right? You see, like the boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know in January they're going to take a swan dive, right? February they're going to be out of control hot. Doop. March, poof. And then just towards the end of March is when that QRS starts coming back
Wait,
up.
towards the end of
and then-
March, that'll be the home and home against the Rangers they have in week 3 of March. They'll win both of those.
Right, exactly.
And then the first
This
week
is
of
what
April,
they do.
They play the Rangers again.
Exactly.
They'll get them that time. You know, make sure they get those.
And then all of a
3
sudden they
games.
start playing good by the end of April.
But they'll
by
lose
middle
to
of April again.
Arizona. They'll lose
Yeah.
to everyone else.
Yeah, Detroit will come in and beat them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Masucci is saying Pittsburgh is shit in the bed.
Oh, well,
Big time.
right now, well, of course, because they're in their annual March swan dive.
Yeah.
And you know, we were going to talk a little bit about like trade deadline acquisitions. Pittsburgh has completely fleeced their future. Like completely. I mean, they are betting everything. And I get it. Crosby and Malkin, they only
Your
have
window's open.
a limited shelf life left.
Right.
But you already have 3 cups with these guys.
Yep.
It's like, are you real? When are you happy with 3 cups? Like, okay, you want to get a 4th one, a 5th one? What's it matter if that sends your team into a spiral for the next decade?
Right.
Because that's what they're looking at right now. They may have a couple more years left, but
Yeah.
realistically,
Well,
Scott,
and you know
do
what?
agree?
They got to be able to avoid injury. That's the whole deal, really.
And
Because
it's-
once
they
you
have
start getting older
they,
like that,
they keep giving away picks like
Right.
nothing.
and now you know the unique situation that Pittsburgh has with that though, and this is why I've always said and I will still say, insofar as Sidney Crosby goes, I still think he's better than Connor McDavid, and this is the reason why. You could put any of us on Sidney Crosby's line, and we're going to score 10 to 15 goals. He just makes everybody else better, which at this point in the game, Connor McDavid does not do. I'm sorry. Fantastic, phenomenal, generational talent. But if you think about it, Edmonton is still trying to figure out somebody to play with him,
How old
other
is
than
Connor,
Draisaitl.
though? 21.
Who's that? Connor McDavid?
Yeah.
I think he's 22 or 23.
He's
This is-
still-
22.
this is his
still
fifth.
very
Yeah,
young.
but this is his 5th season in the league.
I get it, but he still has a long career left.
He does, but I'm
If
just
you
saying.
look at Crosby when he was this age, he was not making people better around him.
But right now, as we stand right here in
Absolutely.
2020, and this is why Pittsburgh's doing what they're doing.
I would say the same
They're-
thing for
Because you're right,
McKinnon.
and Pittsburgh is setting themselves up for a big fall eventually.
Eventually.
No doubt about it. They'll luck out in the draft. Don't worry. When they do take their big fall,
They'll change
get
the
the number
draft
1 pick
rules
when
to make sure
the next
Pittsburgh
big
gets the first
generational
pick.
talent comes through, and they'll get them naturally, right?
Oh, we're getting rid of the lottery this year.
Well, we'll see. We got to miss the playoffs for a couple of years, but don't worry about it. We're going to have a cup-winning team again in 4 years because with that draft lottery.
We're bringing in the 2004 draft lottery results.
Yeah, right. But speaking of Connor McDavid, you see, he's not playing again tonight, or he's not playing tonight. I should say he's still sick.
Lower body injury.
Well, they're calling it sickness.
I saw lower body
Yeah.
because you got to have the lower body to
Well,
play.
no, that's McKinnon.
Not just McKinnon.
McKinnon's got the lower body. He
who
got
else
hurt
is
last night. Connor McDavid's not playing tonight.
Oh, Connor's. not
yeah,
playing.
I was watching the game they were playing the other night a little bit with Vegas, and they were talking about how well he just hasn't been himself. He seems like he's sick. Edmonton better hope he doesn't have the coronavirus.
Oh man,
I just did that for you. I did that for you, Z.
please don't. Don't get me started.
You know,
We might have to talk about that in a little bit.
I really don't want to talk about the
that's
coronavirus
the
right
top
now.
story on NHL.
I know, right?
The Sharks aren't going to be able to play games in front of
Because of the county that they're playing banned mass gatherings.
anything
or
over
something.
1,000 people is banned.
Everybody's freaking out about the flu.
Exactly.
Freaking about the flu.
But listen, the Florida Panthers have no problem with this ban.
I know, right?
They're like, wait, can we
We're
bring in
good.
1,000 fans? Wait,
You know, that's where maybe
we
that's
only
where the
had
Sharks should play their game.
450 the other night. Let's get it 600.
The
more.
Sharks can just go play their games in Florida.
Man, can we not bring up the coronavirus?
Sorry, I had to just for
Oh
you.
my God. I don't want to get into my conversation I just had, but anyways, good. Hockey. Playoffs are shaping up though. And I do got to mention, guys, I don't know if you know this yet or not, but we're going to go live, all pucked up, that is, in conjunction with the D at the Stiefvater for the NHL playoffs.
Yeah, it's starting April 8th, right?
Is it the 8th? It's a
Something like that?
Wednesday,
Yeah.
April 8th.
Starting next
And
month.
We'll be talking about it a lot from here on out. But you guys will be going live from there. There's going to be drink specials and trivia. We're going to have some prizes to give away. And the D crew is going to be on hand as well as you guys from All Pucked Up. So that's going on April 8th, you said.
Do the
I
members
guess
of All Pucked Up get free drinks?
No. You got to pay, man. Man.
Well, it's
What
we'll
about half
pool our
price?
money.
Can they bring back dollar shot night?
This is a 1988 Mazzati. Dollar Shot Night is a thing in the past, that's for damn sure. But that's going down April 8th. Come on out, watch the hockey games, hang out with the boys. We're going to do some live podcasting, and should be a lot of fun at Stiefvater. Did I say Sickenburger Lane?
No.
I get the two
No, you
mixed
said
up.
you said-
Stiefvater.
Yeah.
I have terrible
and-
shell shock from watching playoff games there.
Oh, yeah.
I've only watched one playoff game in the Stiefvater. It was the one where the Rangers were playing Ottawa and they had a 4-1 lead.
Oh, no.
And they lost that game 6-4. And I was just like, I'm
That was
done.
a Saturday afternoon game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was on the day
Yeah.
of Gus's wedding.
Oh.
So is it safe to say you're superstitious?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're one of those.
No, just to clarify, that's on Varick Street in Utica, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Varick Street in Utica. Are you superstitious, Scott?
You know what? The only time I'm superstitious is when I'm actually playing hockey.
Yeah.
I have to put everything on my left side first. So, like, my left skate's got to go on first. My left elbow pad's got to go on first. My left glove's got to go on first. Other than that, I'm okay. I don't care about black cats. I mean, my favorite number is 13. You know, I don't care about full moons or anything like that.
I care
It's
about
just
playoff
weird.
beards. This is
You're a playoff
obviously the Kings.
Well, I
doesn't have a
listen
shot.
because of my job. I can't grow a beard anyway. But hey, listen,
guy. The Kings won last night.
the Kings are the hottest team in the NHL.
What's going on
How do you
with
like that? So
They just keep taking people down. The Kings.
They just-
They're like, oh, now that we're out,
No, yeah, let's
winning
start
games.
playing. Let's
Wait,
do
are
it.
we mathematically out? We are. Let's win the rest of our
Hey,
games.
and let's just lower our lottery odds. Let's do it, guys. But you know what though? I mean, why would you discourage them from winning?
No.
A lot of it was, they made some trades at the trade deadline, got rid of some of their old veteran players. That good for them getting an opportunity to play somewhere else, play for a cup this year and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the big thing with the Kings was they were able to get their younger guys up from their farm club in Ontario. And guess what? These kids are hungry. They're playing for a spot next year. So they don't care that they're mathematically eliminated. They're playing hard. And quite frankly, and this might be a little bit biased sounding because I'm a Kings fan, but I'll tell you, that future's starting to look pretty good. They got the number one rated prospect system in the NHL right now. Going to end up with a lottery pick again. And they've got a ton of draft picks between this year and next year from the trades they made this year at the trade deadline. So, yeah, I'm going to be suffering again probably next year, but I to me, it's like a light at the end of the tunnel. It's coming, right? Now I just hope it's not a freight train coming the other way. But
Were the majority of those deals getting picks back?
yes.
Yeah.
Yep. There was only, they only got what they got. Trevor Moore back was one of the players they got out of the Toronto deal, but that was mostly picks. The Alec Martinez, they got 2 second-round picks from the Golden Knights. They got a pick for a 4th-round pick for Derek Forbort. So they wanted to load up on draft picks. So they set their goal out to. Oh, and in the Tyler Toffoli deal, not only did they get a 2nd-round pick, but they got Tyler Madden, who is one of the leading scorers in college hockey this year. So good on them.
Where does he play?
Northeastern. Out in Boston. So, he's out now with a wrist injury, of course. Upper body injury, actually.
Upper, above the
But
waist.
yes, exactly.
These are the clinical
Yeah.
terms I got from Jamie, who
Yeah.
is a operator's assistant,
yeah, it's just
right? Surgical assistant.
Jamie's ER.
Jamie points out, he's like, go from the hip here and come up. That's upper body.
Yeah.
Everything below that's lower body. You can't play hockey without either Z, just so you know.
Because the NHL is always so exact about everything. You know, it's like a league full of Bill Belichicks. I've said this 1,000 times. You know, It's Bill Belichick should be a hockey coach.
You get a headache,
It'd be
that's an
perfect.
upper body.
Yeah.
This is such a fun time of year, though. The NHL playoffs start to get into full swing, and
Yeah.
basketball, and the Final Four is coming up really soon with the NCAA basketball tournament. Baseball's going to be in full swing. I love this time of year. Springtime, that sun's going to be out in
Weather's
the sky
turning.
really soon. Yeah, we set the clocks ahead this past week, so it's starting to get
Absolutely.
lighter out longer. So I love this time of year.
I love everything you just said there except for baseball and basketball.
Well, we didn't ask what you like, Zadi. Okay.
What about the XFL? We got that now, too.
Oh, yeah, the XFL. That's another thing.
I do love watching hockey in warm weather. Though.
Yeah, right.
The best is when Sickenburger Lane will put the playoff games up on the screen in the courtyard. Go out there and you're like watching hockey outdoors, having a beer. It's like, this is nice.
So I like to be able to watch it in my garage because I have a couple TVs out in my garage and you got the door open and just like, oh, it's so nice, you know?
Well, one thing I'm looking forward to next year is the outdoor game at Griffiths that the Comets are putting on.
Yeah.
The Comets are going to play. Are they playing the Crunch?
Yes.
I probably imagine they play.
Utica College is playing a game there,
and then
too.
Utica College is playing a game there too.
Yep.
Now, who are they playing? Is it
That has
Hamilton?
did they announce that yet?
I imagine it'd be a local team like Hamilton or something like that, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, they got big rivals in like Newman's, like one of
Yeah.
their big rivals. So
Hattonville.
yeah,
Another
so
big rival.
I could actually see them playing a big rival game. But I mean, maybe they will play Hamilton. Who knows? Or maybe Hamilton will get their own under the radar game.
Yeah.
You know?
As much as I like watching the outdoor games on TV, I don't think I would ever go to one. 'Cause nothing seems fun to me about sitting outside watching hockey.
I would just for the so I could say I went to one.
Yeah.
I would love to.
You know,
I mean, that should be awesome at Griffiths. I'm glad they're putting it on. I'm sure it'll be awesome. Me personally, sitting
Right.
out in the freezing cold to watch. I don't like sitting in the arena. I'm like, it's so cold in here.
right. And now you're like in a stadium setting and you can barely see anything. Right. It's kind of like going to WrestleMania. I would
Snowing
imagine.
outside,
That's
yeah.
another thing on my bucket list. I want to go to WrestleMania.
Me too, bro. It's always been on my bucket list. This
but-
year it's at Tampa.
Oh yeah, could you imagine? Of course, the thing is, WrestleMania. If you can afford nosebleed seats, I mean, the wrestlers look like little dots, But I could say I was at WrestleMania. Damn it!
That's a long day with WrestleMania.
Oh,
That's
6 hours.
No, it's longer than that.
Well, I know, but I mean, as far as when this
That's the taping.
start, yeah,
Right,
I
that's
mean-
the taping. Like you're in the audience for
Oh, yeah.
at least 8 hours. That's an 8-hour day.
yeah, could be an expensive day too.
Garrett from Wrestle Fandom Radio, which you can find here on the D on Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock, there, a wrestling podcast. He was at WrestleMania last year. He was in the audience for 9 hours.
Oof,
9 hours. That's a long freaking day.
oof.
Long day. Anyways, back to hockey.
Yeah. So we got sidetracked. Sorry.
Wait, that's what happens. That's what happens when I'm the host.
That's okay.
It's going to turn into ADHD in Z. And
It's follow the bouncing ball.
I'm one big
That's all.
acronym. I'm one big acronym. Anyways, don't you think it's time to take a break and then you're going to tell like?
Well, I
trivia
think we'll-
questions? Is this when you do your?
This is when I do my trivia.
Okay.
Right. My breakaway trivia.
All right. What's the
So-
breakaway trivia for today? I'm excited.
So we know what the whole spiel is about breakaway trivia, right? So I'm going to spare you this week. So we're going to go right to it. My breakaway trivia question for this week is the legendary Bobby Orr. Oh, what could have been with him. What I want to know, how many Norris trophies for best defenseman did Bobby Orr win in his career? The answer when we come back.
So you just bought your dream home, and now it's time to move. Let's face it, nobody likes to move. All the packing, unpacking, lifting, upstairs, downstairs, and broken everything, including your back. Let the professionals at EJA Moving Company take all the stress and pain out of your move. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, and complete packing and unpacking services. They work with everybody to make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Call EJA Moving Company at 315-335-0516. When it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you. Hit them up online, ejamoving.com.
Want to know what's going on at the D? Hit up DisruptionNetwork.net and check out our events calendar. Find out about upcoming guests, special events, concerts, show schedules, community activities, and more. Get connected at DisruptionNetwork.net.
just bought your dream home, and now it's time to move. Let's face it, nobody likes to move. All the packing, unpacking, lifting, upstairs, downstairs, and broking everything, including your back. Let the professionals at EJA Moving Company take all the stress and pain out of your move. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, and complete packing and unpacking services. They work with everybody to make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Call EJA Moving Company at 315-335-0516. When it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you. Hit them up online, ejamoving.com.
Want to know what's going on at the D? Hit up DisruptionNetwork.net and check out our events calendar. Find out about upcoming guests, special events, concerts, show schedules, community activities, and more. Get connected at DisruptionNetwork.net.
About the Rangers then.
And we're back here at All Pucked Up. So as we always do, we're going to come back at you with our breakaway trivia answer. But just for a reminder, I'm going to give you the question again. The question was, Bobby Orr, in his illustrious career, how many Norris trophies as best defenseman in the NHL did he win? And drum roll, please.
I'm slacking over here. Sorry.
All right. Since we had a correct answer in the studio, let's hear it.
8.
And Z got it. It was 8. It was 8 in a row, actually. 8 in a row. 1967 to 1975. Could you imagine that?
Nobody could do that today.
Well, Nick Lidstrom had 7. Didn't get him in a row, but he had 7. And then after him, the closest one was Ray Bork with 5.
Consecutively, I can't see any.
No, not in this day and age, not at all. But, you know, the thing is, like with Bobby Orr, with him, it reminds me of Mario Lemieux. You just think of what could have been if it wasn't for injuries, I mean, seriously.
And Eric Lindros.
Whatever. I hate
you know
Bobby
what?
Orr. I hate Eric
Lindros is a good player, but I would not put him in Lemieux or his class.
It was a joke, guys.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
It was an absolute joke.
You caught me off guard.
Wow, but 8 in a row. Nobody could do that.
No,
today.
not now.
No way.
No way.
Can't think of one guy out there right now that can go.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
That's old time hockey, eh?
Yeah,
Hey.
you ain't kidding. Hey.
Absolutely. So let's talk about teams that are on the bubble. There's a bunch of teams that are on the bubble.
Yeah.
And on the cusp, who's making the playoffs, who's not. The Rangers are one of those teams.
Yeah, we'll get to them in a minute. We're going to start out west because we don't want to be East Coast bias.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Well,
This is a hard
In the West,
been biased.
it's just crazy how tight the West is right now. It's tight, but they're all bad. Like it's a bad tight. Like,
yeah.
they're not winning, but they're all very close in points.
Yeah.
We got 2 teams right now,
It's equally terrible.
just outside 76 points. Vancouver and Nashville. I think Vancouver was in 3rd place 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Like, Arizona's right behind them with 74 points. Minnesota is inside, getting the second wild card for 77 points, and Winnipeg's at 78. And then, of course, the Pacific Division 3rd place is only Calgary with 79, so that's still up for grabs.
Right.
And then, a few more points up, Edmonton and Vegas. But
I mean, in reality, half the Pacific Division is up for grabs anyway. Period.
literally. I mean, Dallas
Vegas is
playing
starting to pull
tonight.
away a little bit in the Pacific. I'm sorry, but that's anybody's division.
But like even the Central, I mean, obviously St. Louis and Colorado pretty much are going to be up at the top, but Dallas is floundering at 82 points. They could be caught by Minnesota,
Sure they could.
so or Winnipeg. So it's anybody's ball game here still.
Dallas just suffers from power outages sometimes. They got that fantastic defense, but man, sometimes they totally forget how to score goals. And,
I've been watching their games too, and their
crazy.
defense doesn't activate when they should.
No, that's
It's
just
like,
it. They're
you
too
got a
conservative.
wide open middle lane. Take the shot,
Yeah.
buddy. And it's like
The only one that really even remotely does that is Klingberg.
Klingberg.
I mean, Miro Heiskanen, they had all these high hopes for him. He hasn't put together a bad season, but it's like they're putting the reins on him and just reeling him in. It's like,
When I
no,
watch him, I think he's too much in his own head. Like
Could very well
that's,
be.
That's what it looked like. He'll have I just watched him the other night. He has the puck on the blue line, offensive zone. Might have even been a power play.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know what he wants to do. He's looking right. He's looking left. He wants to shoot. He shoots wide.
Well, you know, it's like that. He's got this natural talent, and he knows he's got all the tools. But it's almost like I don't know if it's their coaching staff that's gotten to his head. Saying, no, you got to play more conservative. You know, not for nothing. When you got a horse like that, you let him run.
Well, you know, I think that's the thing. When he came in, nobody knows what his real talents are, and he just goes and does what he wants to do, and he lights it up, right? And now the next year, they're like, okay, now we know you can do this. We want more. We want this. We want that. And I think he gets in his own head about it.
I think so.
Just keep it going, man. Just don't even pay attention to the coach. Just do what you did last year.
So what if they bench you?
Just keep going.
But no, you know what? You're right with that. I mean, it's incredible the amount of talent that's in Dallas too. That they can't score. It's ridiculous. I mean, when you got a line that you can put out there as Jamie Benn, Tyler Sagan, and Alexander Radulov, you should not be having these problems.
No.
You really shouldn't. You know, I mean, obviously bringing Corey Perry in the offseason wasn't the answer to their goal-scoring woes. Imagine that.
Hey, he got a goal.
Yeah, a goal. A.
He got the goal the first game there, right?
Yeah, and that was about it.
That's it.
And then now his claim to fame was he got kicked out of the Winter Classic. You know.
Out of all the teams on the bubble in the West, who is the one that gets in?
I still like Vancouver. You know why?
Are you being a homer right now because of the comments?
No.
No, okay.
No, listen, but they're in my division.
I got
Yeah,
it. Oh,
so-
right. That's right. You're a Kings fan.
So I like
Such a biased show you guys got going on.
I know, right? I like Vancouver because, again, like with the Capitals, I like their bottom six.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'd like to. I don't want to write them off because they don't have Jacob Markstrom back yet either, and they're going to get him back soon. So I mean, Demko's been okay carrying the load, but he hasn't been Jacob Markstrom, right? So when Markstrom comes back, it's going to be a while before they get Brock Besser back, so they might as well forget about that. But I still say don't ignore Vancouver. I'm not a firm believer in Minnesota. I'm not. I'm sorry.
Well, they got rid of Boudreaux.
Yeah.
So now they can win. Now
Yeah, right. Yeah. No. Well, no, that's usually a playoff thing with him, though. He's great in the regular
Right,
season.
but now I'm like, yeah, Minnesota, make it in. Now you got a shot.
Make the poor guy look
when
like a
Boudreaux
complete
was
fool.
there, why even bother playing the game?
Right.
Like, you'll never win a playoff game ever. Like,
But think about it, though. I mean, Devin Dubnyk's been riding the pine for Alex Stalock. I mean, granted, he went on a hot streak. I get it, but still, I mean, where did Minnesota come from? I mean, that's another example of, look what a streak can do. You know? But is a streak really telling of the team? I don't think so. I like to look at the whole body of work. And as a whole body of work, Vancouver's been pretty good this year. They really haven't been dependent on one single streak, per se, to get them to where they're at.
yeah, but streaking at this time of the year is the time to be streaking.
It's a little
I don't
early.
need to tell the Kings
A little
fan
early.
that. Come on. Or how about
it's
the
early.
Blues last year that were dead last at Christmas?
But here's the
Like,
problem.
You want to streak into the playoffs and keep it rolling. You know, when you're streaking like that and you've had such a bad season behind you, every one of these games is a playoff game for Minnesota. Every one of these games are going to be a playoff game for all these bubble teams here on out. So whoever makes it in has, I think, tremendous advantage going into the playoffs over, say, a team like, I don't know, St. Louis, who is going up and down, lost to the Devils the other day. Like, so,
Yeah.
you know,
They
I
lost
think,
again last night, too.
yeah, I think it's beneficial to be streaking. The problem is, as we just went over, there's only two basically spots up for grab, and there's 5 teams that could take them.
Right.
And it's that tight. This one's going to come down to the last day. I would like to see Vancouver. I really want to see Arizona put a streak together and get back in this because, man, they've been so bottom for so long now. They finally tried to put a better team together this year.
They better make it win because if they better make it in because if they don't, I bet you're going to see Taylor Hall go bye-bye.
Why not?
You know, because he wants to be on a contender.
Yeah.
It's, you know.
I don't blame him.
Oh, I'm not well, exactly. Oh, I don't blame him either. But what I'm saying is for what they gave up to get him, you know. But I don't think Arizona's going to make it. To be honest with you, I'm just they're another one I'm not a believer in.
No, they got a game against the Rangers this week. So
Well,
there's 2 points. For
You're in the desert, so you never know, right? The one team we really haven't talked about is Nashville. Now all of a sudden Nashville's playing Smashville hockey again.
Yeah, well, Nashville's getting the bump from the tornadoes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another thing. Have you noticed, like, that usually when a natural disaster or something happens, that team or that city rides high on that stuff, and I would not be surprised if Nashville goes deep into the playoffs because of that.
And man, God
tornado.
bless all the people affected by that.
Absolutely.
It looked
Oh, absolutely.
terrible.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Like, I couldn't even imagine. That's one of my greatest fears is tornadoes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thinking about moving it to Nashville. So I'm like, forget
Bet you
that
changed your
now.
mind now, didn't you?
So, but yeah, as soon as that happened, all of a sudden Nashville started winning. All of a sudden, Pecorino started making saves again.
Well, no, it's UC Soros. It's come.
Soros,
Yeah, it's just
Started making
coming in out of
crazy
nowhere.
saves,
He's
yeah.
his
So-
past month, he's been unbeatable,
yeah, he's been great.
You
So,
know.
hey,
which is what they wanted because he was their goalie of the future anyway. I mean, don't forget, Rene's 37 years old.
but remember, for Vancouver and Nashville to get in at this point, Winnipeg and Minnesota are going to have to fall off, or potentially Calgary. Any of those things can still happen.
Well,
It's
Dallas,
way up in the air.
Dallas could fall off too if they don't start getting it going.
They have 82. I don't think they're going to fall all the way out. Even if they lose the third spot, they'll probably still keep a wild card, I think, for Dallas.
Well, they got 6 points to play with right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's.
14 games left.
But I will disagree with you slightly on what you just said about streaking now. If I'm a team that's going to go on a streak, I would rather go on a streak towards the end of March
Oh, 100%.
because
Coasting right into the playoffs.
because it's the nature of streaks, right? Okay, so you have a fantastic 8 to 10 game streak. That's going to take you into the end of March. And what usually follows a long winning streak? 500 hockey if you're lucky. Usually it's look at the Penguins.
500 hockey might get you win you a playoff series.
But what happens if
Check
okay,
the
your
St.
streak,
Louis Blues
your-
last year.
Yeah, but the Blues are a very poor example to use because when is that ever going to happen again?
It might
It's
happen again
not.
this year. We don't know.
No, because
I don't know.
I don't think the Red Wings are going to rise out of the ashes from last place overall. They're
But I
done.
mean, like, the whole thing in the playoffs last year was, well, Binnington wins every game after a loss. That's 500 hockey.
yeah, but
You know, like, now granted, if you win the first two and then you lose and then you win, now you
That-
set yourself up for a 3-1,
750
you know,
hockey.
like,
But that's I know what you're saying, but to me that whole thing with the Blues last year was such an improbable bolt of lightning, so to speak.
whether it was improbable or not is now become a factual thing in the NHL.
I know, and everybody
And-
thinks that they
and
it gives
changed-
everybody credence that they still got a shot.
It changed the trade deadline
Yeah.
immeasurably this year because so many teams were like, we're right
Well,
there.
we had-
We're right
well,
there. The
there was-
Blues did it. We could do it. Like,
But there was so many teams that were right there,
That's
though,
the
too.
thing, yeah.
There was only really 5 legit sellers.
if that.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean that's.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't if I'm a fan of say even like me being a Kings fan. Listen, I have absolutely zero illusions of them winning the rest of their games and getting into the playoffs. Okay, and I'm not going to say, "Whoa, look what the Blues did last year. They played Gloria on New Year's Eve, and look what they did." No, there is no Gloria this year. I'm sorry.
I think
the Gloria ship sailed.
I think the Kings are mathematically out.
No, there's still
not?
there's still
They
a
go
possibility.
undefeated?
Listen, maybe the Sharks will have to forfeit their games too. You never.
Scott, can I ask about this Gloria thing? What happened?
You didn't know about Gloria?
I don't know about Gloria.
So New Year's Eve, St. Louis Blues were in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Right now, keep in mind at this point they are last place overall in the league.
Right. Yep.
Philadelphia hammers them, beats them to a pulp. Right. Some of the players go to a bar outside of Philly. I think it was Voorhees, New Jersey. Actually, they're all kind of down on themselves. Like, man, what a lost season this has been. And so they're having a few drinks, and I forgot who it was. Goes over to the jukebox and puts Gloria by Laura Branigan, the old 80s classic.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So,
Gloria.
so they all got a few drinks in them, right? Gloria, it was kind of like this whole team bonding moment. And then somehow they practice through their hangover the next day. And after that particular incident is when this whole crazy win streak started. So they accredit it to Gloria, right? That's what that
They
was
start
all
playing
about.
it after wins.
Yeah,
in
and it
the
was
arena.
just because of what happened at that bar after a beatdown, really. So that's where that whole Gloria thing came from.
That was their turning point.
But you know the difference between the Blues last year too, and I want to point this out real quick. The Blues last year, okay, they were horrible for the first half. They weren't supposed to be horrible. On paper, they had a
No, they weren't.
fantastic team.
Yeah,
it was just one of those things that for whatever reason, they couldn't figure out a way to win.
They couldn't gel.
So it's not like they were a bottom dweller.
Apparently, it was all the coach's fault.
Yeah, right? Yeah, you think Mike Yow's ever going to get a head coaching job and get a job
No.
again? Probably not.
No.
Even though he can throw a mighty fine hockey stick, let me tell you. It's like a javelin. So anyways, that's where Gloria came from. But that's also a reason why the Blues went on that crazy streak that they did, because they had the talent there. It was just a matter of getting the most out of them, really. But
Do you
as
think
far
they
as-
got the Stanley Cup hangover this year, the Blues? I mean, they've been hot, but they have been slumping a little bit.
I'll say
Yeah,
this:
that's
the
a hard
Blues
thing to-
barely got past Dallas last year, barely, and I think Dallas is an improved team to last year. I don't know if the Blues are an improved team from last year.
they're going to be by the playoffs. They're going to have Tarasenko back.
Tarasenko's coming back, so that's going to change a lot of things. But
And I don't necessarily
we don't know
that
if
Dallas
that's going to
is
be a good thing either.
But I don't
We've
know
seen
necessarily that-
Tarasenko be not good.
True, very
So
true. But I don't
he
know
could come back and
necessarily
just be a dud out there.
just how improved Dallas is.
Well,
I mean, if they were that much better, they shouldn't be floundering like this.
that's why they play the games.
You know, they
probably
replaced Zuccarello with Corey Perry.
Yeah, I think they should.
So there you go.
Personally. I don't know why they let him go, but
Money.
it's money.
They didn't want to pay him.
Pavelski.
I mean,
Yeah.
Minnesota paid a ridiculous amount of money to get him. I mean, there's no way he should have got that money. But hey, that's what a good playoff run will do for you, right?
Look at the East bubble now. We have
Let's do it.
the floundering Penguins are sitting in third at 84 points. I'm sure they'll make Rich happy.
Good thing Penguins can float.
Third place in Atlantic is Toronto at 79 points. The wild cards are Columbus has the first one at 81 points, but they have played 70 games. Carolina, 67 games played. They have the second wild card with 79 points. And then the Islanders, 79 points outside the playoff picture, which I love. And then the
No,
Florida
really?
Panthers at 78, the Rangers at 76, Montreal 71. I don't give Montreal much of a
No, I think
first
Montreal's
hope at
toast.
this point. But Florida getting back into the picture. And of course, Florida only has to take third place in the Atlantic.
Exactly.
So Florida gets one more win over Toronto right now, and they're in third
It's
place.
huge.
Yeah, so it's quite the bubble in the East as well, especially with all this movement. The Islanders were in the top three all season long. Bad time to hit a slump.
You know, I'm going to tell you something. I'm usually not a big believer in that big acquisition at the trade deadline changes your fortunes, because I just think that the trade deadline is too late in the season for a real good chance for a player to come in and make a significant difference right off the bat, because a player still has to get used to a new system, a new team. I mean, every once in a while you catch lightning in a bottle, don't get me wrong. But I just think that if the trade deadline were, say, earlier in the season, it would make it that much more of a time frame to get teams acclimated to the new players and whatnot. Anyways, with that said, the Islanders, I hate to pick on them because I've been picking on them ever since the trade deadline.
Pick away.
But you know, yeah, I can see you're loving this, right? But I don't know what they were thinking by not getting a winger that can score. All right, JG Peugeot is a good player. They didn't need him though. They didn't need another center. They didn't. They needed somebody that could put the puck in the net. And I'm sorry, Peugeot is not a goal scorer. I mean, I know he had this awesome first half of the season, but as soon as New Year's Eve hit, it was like the chariot turned back into a pumpkin. I mean, he scored 2 goals after the start of the new year. So where he started off scoring 24.
I mean, I'm not clairvoyant.
So-
I don't know what was going on in the GM meetings, but from what it looks like to me, is it looks like the Islanders were in on every deal for every better player than Peugeot and didn't get any of them.
And then they went overpaid for him.
And then they were like, well, we got to get someone.
Yeah.
So then they overpaid for Peugeot. And it's like,
Yeah. And
Why?
what they gave up for him was ridiculous. I think that was a panic move. Really. You know, but hey, whatever. They certainly got him now because they signed him to an extension on top of that.
yeah.
The other one that really kind of just blew my mind was Florida. You know, this is a team that really needed a defenseman. Needed one bad too. But they give away Trocheck for a bag of pucks
I don't know why they got rid of him.
because apparently I guess he was falling out of favor with Quenneville and everybody else, which okay, I get that.
Quenville's no nonsense.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not messing around.
So, okay, I understand that. But to get rid of him for more role players that you really didn't need when you needed help on your defense was questionable at best. I mean, I understand they got a couple good prospects in return too, but geez, I mean, how does that improve the team? Getting rid of a guy that's going to score 20, 25 goals a year for you to get role players and prospects that you hope are going to pan out when you're in a playoff hunt. Now, I get it if they had completely fallen out. They're like, okay, we got to make some changes here. Let's do this. I understand it then. But when you're still fighting to get in the playoffs, and you pull that kind of move, you know what I mean?
Do you think this plays into anything at all? Let me just throw a scenario at you. You're the GM of the Florida Panthers. You're trying to work deals. The team's so close to the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
You're at the game, and you look out into the arena, and there's 1,200 people in a 20,000-seat arena. Do you go, let's just not worry about this year. Let's get some prospects. Maybe we could get this thing rolling right next year.
You know what, though? That's been going on for years.
I know, but, like, you got to think there's something in the back of his head that's got to think like that, right?
Now, there's another factor into all this that came out after.
I mean, goalie Bob's not been great.
Well, here's the thing. He hasn't been either. But they went out and they spent all that money on goalie Bob.
Yeah.
Right? And they brought in other players like Strawman and all that. Apparently, the Florida owner wants that payroll cut now because they can't get anybody in the building.
Yeah.
So can you blame the guy? No. Right? But Mike, and now they got the All-Star game going to Florida next year. So my question is this. How long is the NHL going to continue with this charade? Seriously. It's embarrassing at this point.
They're not moving into Quebec City. I know you want that. It's not gonna happen.
But the other
Quebec City isn't a much better situation.
Yeah, but they're going to fill that building.
It's a 12,000-seat arena.
No, it's not. No, it is not. It's 17.
The new one?
They built it. The Videotron, they built it for an NHL team. There's specs that they have to for minimum seating. They gave a waiver to Winnipeg. Winnipeg has the smallest arena in the league. It's like 15,000 or something.
Yeah, it's small.
But no, then when Quebec City built that arena, they wanted it up to the current NHL specs, so that with the idea of bringing a team in. And they didn't. They know they got everything else working against them, so they're like, damn it, our arena isn't going to work against us. But anyways, that notwithstanding, you know what was really surprising was Carolina. I thought they gave up way too much to get what they got. You're probably going to disagree with me, but Brady Shea is not worth a first-round pick.
Last year he was.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, the Rangers fleeced him. They fleeced him.
And then did you see Shea's terrible giveaway the other day?
That's what I mean.
I was like, I'm so glad those aren't on our team anymore. As much as I like Shea, he made some brutal giveaways. And this one he did the other day against with Carolina. He just gives it to the other player from behind the net to in front of the net, just like puts it on his tape. Like he was dishing the guy at one time. And it was like, Brady, what are you looking at? Like, the guy's 15 feet in front of the net. And you put a puck right on his stick blade. But you know what? When Brady Shea is playing good and when he's making those stretch passes, he's a good player. Although he makes the occasional gaffe. But I don't understand why Carolina loaded up on D-men. They have a D-men prospect pool anyway.
But they
just kept loading up more D-men.
I understand they got
D-men.
injuries to deal with, but still, maybe I could see bringing one in. How did you see Vatanen had a setback? Yeah, it's like, wow, you basically just handed New Jersey a second-round pick just because,
and a player.
Yeah, it was a lower end prospect. I think. But still, so. I don't know what's going on there either, but this is going to be...
CBJ make it, Scott? Do you think CBJ makes it?
I think they do.
Really?
I think they do. And I'll tell you, I know you hate Tortorella. I know you hate him, but you know what?
He hates everybody.
Tortorella...
I spit on Tortorella when I was a kid.
It's like I've told you before. Tortorella teams just do not quit. And you know what? Nobody wants to play a team that doesn't quit. We're gonna go with another Rocky reference. I'm telling you, Columbus is like Rocky. They're not the prettiest team in the league. They're not the fanciest team in the league. But damn it, they just keep coming at you. They can
take a punch, though.
They can take a beating and keep on ticking. And the fact that Bobrovsky walked, Panarin walked, everybody wrote them off is dead.
So you think
done? And you know what? It was like they put their chip on their shoulder. Korpisalo was better than they thought they were going to be. Elvis Merzlikins is certainly better than they thought he was going to be. So as long as those two can keep it up, I say Columbus is in.
So you think it's going to stay the way it is today? Carolina and Columbus in the wild cards.
No.
Islanders out, Rangers out?
I think the Islanders are going to overtake Carolina.
Over Carolina.
And I'll tell you why. For all the moves that Carolina made, they screwed up by not helping their goaltending. They really did. I mean, I get it. Both their goalies were hurt at the same time, but this happened.
You mean it's
before
a
the
bad
trade
thing
deadline.
for the defenseman to give the puck to the other team?
It's a bad thing for that to happen. It's a bad thing to sit there and say, okay, well, we know our goalies are going to be out for at least 2 to 3 weeks. Hey, let's depend on our AHL goaltenders when we're in the midst of a very tight playoff race. Great move.
Did you
when
see
there was goalies available?
Did you see this story just came out mentioning Carolina real quick? During that emergency goalie game in Toronto, did you see Colin Campbell called the GM of the Carolina Hurricanes to check with him to be like, can either of these guys get back into the game?
No
for the
kidding, I
third
didn't know that.
period. He had somebody from NHL calling the GM of a team, telling him what players he should put out on the ice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like
That's
first
awesome.
of all, the dumbest thing ever, Colin. You think the GM's like the coach, anybody, if either of those goalies could play a shred, do you think they would not put them
Exactly.
in over the Zamboni driver?
Exactly.
Like, did that require a phone call? But the fact that he did make that phone call is extremely disturbing to me.
Yeah.
That somebody from the NHL is trying to, live game, tell them what players to put out on the ice.
Right.
That's nuts to me.
Well, did you see, though, at the GM meetings, they decided that the emergency goalie rule stays.
Yeah.
Because there was talk about...
It hardly ever happens.
But that's just it. They're making a huge deal out of nothing. But the other real
Like the
quick...
amount of people that get killed by coronavirus. It's
Yeah, right.
really-
There we go with that.
But real quick, too, I just want to touch on that GM meeting before we go back to this. Did you see they also tweaked the offsides rule and made it better?
Yeah.
Or they finally got something right.
On the
where
replay, it doesn't have to be on the
skate
ice.
has to
anymore.
be, exactly. They
It has
can
to be
above.
over the line,
Yep,
but
but
not on the ice.
plane
When they
goes up
do
to the skate.
only when they do the replay.
Well, still.
The
though,
linesmen are still going to call it,
Yeah.
just like they have always called it.
But they fixed that, if you
Yeah,
ask me.
yeah,
'Cause that was asinine. They were
Stupid.
Oh, I think there was 2 millimeter clearance between his blade and the ice.
I want to know
so-
if the Rangers are going to get the 6 goals back that they lost because of that. But whatever.
Sorry, no refunds.
Yeah. So you think my Rangers don't make it in,
I just, I don't.
even with
I-
Zibanejad potting in 5.
No.
5. Did you see that against the Capitals? 5 goals.
How could you not see it? Because the NHL media can't stop peeing their pants over it.
Oh,
Okay.
it was 5. 5, not 3,
But you know
not
what?
4, but
Yeah.
5 goals.
And you know what his plus minus? You're a big plus minus guy. You know what his plus minus was for the night?
1, right?
Zero.
Oh, it was 0?
You
Zero.
don't get plus minuses for those goals.
Zero. Well, not for 2 of them. They were on the power play.
Yeah.
So,
Still, it was 4 goals and they still won.
but I'll tell you what. With the I think the Rangers will just miss. I think they got a very difficult road trip coming up, and this road trip's going to be
If the road trip goes good, it's totally different.
Yeah, I mean it's
Just like a couple weeks ago when they had to go through Minnesota.
You know what my problem with
won
the
that
Rangers right
week.
now is they got 2 teams they got to get over yet, and all it's going to take is one of those teams to start streaking.
Yeah, but we got 2 games at hand on Columbus, and we play them again.
Well, there you go.
So we could definitely overtake Columbus. They definitely control their own destiny at this point. I would
Boy,
say.
you got 5 points to go to catch Columbus, though. That's tough. That's tough.
Well, if we get those 2 games at hand, that's 4
It's
points
gonna.
right there.
I
And
tell
then
you,
the
it's
game
gonna come
against
down.
Columbus.
It'll come down to the wire. There's no
Yeah,
doubt about it.
yeah.
I just
hope
can't.
it comes down to the wire.
Yeah, but you know
They lose this week, it ain't coming down to the wire.
Well, that's true. But with the Rangers, I think they got too far into the hole.
I think the
And
Kreider
think-
injury killed us.
Yeah, that
Really
hurt.
us.
That
As soon
hurt.
as they signed him, he
Ugh,
Yeah, I know,
broke his
right?
foot.
Well, you know what though?
He's skating there.
I'm
He's
interested to
already-
hear your opinion on this. I don't think the Rangers ever had any intention of trading him
No,
because
they
they
absolutely did.
They wanted the moon for him. They wanted the moon. Nobody
glad
was
they
going
didn't.
to. Nobody was going to.
Scoring at a
Yeah, but you know what?
unheard of.
But did you hear what they wanted?
First
They
and
wanted
second.
a first round pick, they wanted a high end prospect, and they wanted an established NHL player. Nobody was going to give that up.
Yeah.
Especially not a contender.
Well,
no way.
established NHL player is a very loose term.
Well, yeah, but if you're a contender, right? Depending on what the established NHL player they wanted, you're going to screw up your team chemistry like that.
I can't believe the Penguins didn't bite.
They didn't have a first-round pick left. They don't have anything.
They already spent it on something.
They're like, hey, we'll give you our 2042 first-round pick for them. You know?
We gave them out for the next 10 years already.
They didn't have anything. Boy, and then how about Shesterkin goes and gets in that car accident right before the trade deadline?
Oh, man.
My God.
Takes out him and Buchnevich.
Yeah. I mean, Buchnevich didn't miss any time. But...
Yeah, he missed a game.
Oh, did he miss a game?
Two games.
All right, well,
One of those was against the Flyers, which we needed him for, so...
But, I mean, I'm telling you, I as far as the Rangers go, I cannot believe that a team like Colorado didn't bite on Lundqvist. I mean, we talked about this one before. I want to hear your opinion on that one because Colorado especially, they're a team that's got cap space to burn. Grubauer, you don't know when he's coming back.
We don't know that Lundqvist would have gone.
You know what, though? I think at this point he would have. Because I think he's very, very upset with this whole 3-goalie situation. He's not happy about it at all. And he's already come right out and said to the press, well, we're going to talk in the offseason about what's going on here.
The general manager did first, I think.
Well, I mean, it was kind of a mutual thing.
Yeah.
They're trying to keep a lid on it without keeping a lid on it.
Listen, the only thing that I am extremely positive about with the Rangers is, one, we look this good, and we are still in a rebuild, and we're pushing. We have about 3 or 4 more guys that are supposed to be really good still coming, including Keandre Miller, including Rykov, who's playing in the AHL right now. Hopefully they work out. Di Giuseppe has been a nice surprise filling in for Kreider. The kid's got a lot of heart, and he doesn't make mistakes.
Well, I'll tell you what.
He's not costing us anything, which is good. But at the top of the pyramid for the Rangers, I don't have any more faith than I couldn't have any more faith in John Davidson. When we got JD back to be president of the organization,
do you think it's JD and not Gorton?
I think Gorton's done admirably well.
You mean the fisherman isn't the one who turned this all around?
No, I'm going to say JD, man. It's changed a lot since JD got there.
I don't follow the Rangers close enough to...
I mean, Panarin, Trouba, all that's JD.
Well, I'll tell you what. Panarin is your MVP. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. I was actually having a kind of
that contract seems very reasonable now, doesn't it?
Well, it was reasonable to begin with, especially when you consider what Columbus and the Islanders were offering him. But the fact of the matter is, regardless of whether the Rangers make the playoffs or not, Artemi Panarin has to be in the Hart Trophy conversation. Has to be.
I think it's a shame if the Calder Trophy, at least if he's not in the question, Adam Fox. Adam Fox
There's no way
he's going to
he's not going to overtake Makar or
he should at least be in the conversation.
No way. Not with the years. That conversation fine.
I'm not saying he wins, but he should be in the nomination.
But Quinn Hughes and Kel Makar have been heads and shoulders above everybody else. There's no questioning that. But as far as Panarin goes, I was having a kind of a quasi argument in the locker room at hockey the other night about this because I play hockey with a bunch of Rangers fans, and I'll imagine that Rangers fans around here. Oh my God, right? And they were, there was one of them that was trying to tell me, well, Zibanejad should be in the Hart Trophy conversation more than Panarin. And I'm like, how? Well, look at the year he's having. I'm like, right. But Zibanejad is the biggest beneficiary of Panarin being there because they're on separate lines, right? Panarin's the one that takes all the best matchups to lead the second matchup, kind of like what Crosby does for Malkin, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. Truthfully.
Makes sense.
And you know what? Panarin has made a star out of Ryan Strome. Ryan Strome was nothing until he got on Panarin's line. It's the Artem Anisimov effect.
I don't really know. I don't really know how good Ryan Strome actually.
But that's what I mean. Do you think Ryan Strome has 60 points without Artemi Panarin?
No,
absolutely not.
But he wasn't doing it in Edmonton.
He wasn't doing it anywhere. That's what I mean. But it's the same thing with Anisimov, right? When you guys had Anisimov, he was a fourth line center. He goes to Chicago, gets on the line with the bread man.
I don't think he was fourth line, but go ahead.
Okay, but he gets on the line with the bread man, and now all of a sudden, Anissimov's a star.
I always thought
the bread man leaves, and all of a sudden, there goes his career. But that's the thing with Panarin. It's like the Crosby effect, what I was talking about earlier. Makes other players better, and that's so important.
Strome is definitely not as good as
exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
I like him and everything,
right. But he solved the second line center problem for you. Panarin did. By being there.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I mean?
Pretty much.
He solved that problem for you because now, I mean, you can put this cup out. Here, your Panarin center.
The amazing thing about
this
watching
got
Panarin,
40 points,
and Z, you should really check out more Rangers game because watching Panarin.
I don't have time, but eventually I have a life.
Watch him on replay. The Panarin will just take the puck. He got 3 guys on him.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. He still has that puck.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if he's kicking it left, right. This guy's hacking at him, and then he just dishes it out to the middle of nowhere where somebody else can pick it up.
Right.
And he's really good at that. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. You don't need a good center because you just give him the puck.
Exactly.
And he runs with it.
So it's exactly it. His center is basically more or less a traffic cop. Seriously.
All the center has to do is get open.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
I got to apologize to a couple of people out there. Some people have been commenting,
Oh.
and I just opened it up. It's only a couple. So Travis is saying his father, he guessed your trivia question. He said number 8.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, and he said his dad was a big Bruins guy. RP to Jim. Chris is
Cool.
due to spit on Torts again.
I'm due to spit on Torts.
Yeah.
Who said that? Was
You spit on John Tortorella?
I did.
You did.
At a Comets game.
And you're proud of this.
I was 10,
Yeah.
9, 10 years old.
Nice.
And John Tortorella used to be a player for the Virginia Lancers.
Okay.
He got hurt and he was a player coach. So then he just became coach. And in the last year of the Mohawk Valley Comets, this is before the Utica Devils came in, we went to the championship game. It was at the Odd. And of course, we lose to Tortorella's team. And there was a kerfuffle between the fans and the players.
Kerfuffle.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
that's interesting.
There may
A
have been
kerfuffle.
some beers and water bottles and
I got
some
it.
people going over the glass. I don't know. But I was right there, and I was so mad.
You didn't have a beer to
hawked,
throw.
I hawked right over the glass, and it landed on Torts' shoulder.
All right.
And
Too bad we didn't have smartphones back then. You could have taken a selfie with it.
did you see somebody trying to take a selfie with him the other
and he
day?
just totally ignored him. He's like, "Get
He's
away
like,
from me."
they're like, selfie. He looks
Get
at him,
outta here.
basically flipped him off in
Yeah.
his face.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, you think Torts was going to do that?
No
Come
way.
And no-
But I'll tell you what, if Columbus makes the playoffs, he's got to be in Coach of the Year conversation. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And Masucci is saying you
I don't
have
know
to
about
tell Scott, sorry, taking him in our fantasy league. I don't know who's taking who in fantasy league. You have to tell Scott, is he talking to me? I don't know.
Oh, well, unless he's talking about he picked up Dustin Brown.
Oh, okay.
That could be what it,
Oh, he's saying sorry to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But which that's fine.
He got a hat trick, didn't he?
Yeah, but it wasn't against me. So that's okay. Tell you, I just hope Masucci loses in the first round. Because our playoffs started today. So
I do got to let everybody know Masucci will be back on Monday, and you guys will be in
Yep.
full swing on Monday. The cast
back to
crew,
normal.
all pucked up, will be back to normal. And don't forget, on April 8th, we're going to be hanging out at Steve Otter for hockey playoffs. It's going to be a great old time that we're going to hang out with the all
Live
pucked up
from
guys.
Steve Otter.
Live from the Steve Otter, all pucked up.
Nice.
We're going to do some trivia. There's going to be drink specials and some food, and it's going to be a good old time. So make sure you guys mark that on your calendar. Come join us.
And we're going to remind you about it over and over again. So this is not going to be the only time we mention this.
Indeed. In fact, after we're done, you're going to do a promo about it.
Oh, all right. There you
Hopefully the
go.
Rangers
See?
will
Throwing
be
it to the
playing.
Wolves today there,
Oh,
Scott.
well, I didn't know that. All right.
Yes. Well, this has been great. You guys go over to their Facebook page. All Pucked Up has a Facebook page. Go give them a like. Give my Garage Bar a like. And all Masucci's platforms. Masucci's got like a dozen platforms
Yeah.
now. It does.
He's like scaffolding. He's got so many
And
platforms.
he doesn't even know how to. He only runs half of them. I'm kidding. Masucci, you do a great job, and I love you, and I miss you, and I'll see you at the Stanley tonight, I think. Is he working at the Stanley tonight? I don't
I
know.
have no idea.
Who knows? But anyways, for Chris Mazzotti and Scott Kinville, I am Z, and we are out. Thank you so much, and this is All Pucked Up. Later.
Hey, yeah.
So you just bought your dream home, and now it's time to move. Let's face it, nobody likes to move. All the packing, unpacking, lifting, upstairs, downstairs, and broken everything. including your back? Let the professionals at EJA Moving Company take all the stress and pain out of your move. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, and complete packing and unpacking services. They work with everybody to make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Call EJA Moving Company at 315-335-0516. When it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you. Hit them up online, ejamoving.com.
Want to know what's going on at the D? Hit up DisruptionNetwork.net and check out our events calendar. Find out about upcoming guests, special events, concerts, show schedules, community activities, and more. Get connected at DisruptionNetwork.net.